If you can master focus, you can then go all in. And I added something to this I just want you to think about very briefly. It's important to focus. But a lot of people are afraid, and I think I've been here before too, we're sometimes afraid to own focus. Because sometimes when we focus, it means we are doing less and that we're turning down opportunities and we're going all in on this one thing or a few things. And if we truly do that and those few things or that one thing doesn't work, there's no fallback plan. There's no plan B. When you hyper focus on one thing or a few things, you have to own that. And if it doesn't work out and you don't have a plan B or a fallback plan, then you're kind of in a tough spot. And a lot of people, like I said, I've been here before, afraid to own that focus because it eliminates that fallback plan. It eliminates that safety net. You're burning the boats. You're coming up on shore. You're burning the boats. And your one thing, your focus is to take the land. Take the land. There's no retreat. There's no fallback plan. Burning those boats, that makes you own the focus. Burning those boats is a scary thing because if and when you get on the land and you can't seize it, you can't take it, you're not going anywhere else. You are forced to own that focus. Bedros Keuilian made this post the other day, which I really appreciated. You know, in the entrepreneur space, in the business space, you can apply this to anything. Like being a serial entrepreneur is something that a lot of people are proud of. And I used to think I wanted to be a serial entrepreneur. Being a serial entrepreneur means that you have multiple businesses, hopefully multiple successful businesses. And I used to always say, like, this is when I was younger, more naive, inexperienced. I would say, man, I want to be a serial entrepreneur one day. I want multiple businesses. I actually don't want that anymore. I want to focus on my one business because I want to be focused. I want to be all in. And I also want to be able to operate at a level 12 and increase my intensity on that one thing as opposed to spreading myself too thin. Bedros Keuilian said the only time it's sexy to have multiple businesses is at a cocktail party. You know, you're at a cocktail party, you're drinking an old fashioned, you're wearing a suit maybe, which I probably wear a suit like once a year at a wedding. And someone's asking you, what do you do? Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I own multiple businesses. Oh, how successful are those businesses? Oh, you know, they all do great. In reality, they have like very minimal cash flow, no profitability, cash position is poor, employees aren't happy. It's only sexy to have multiple businesses at a cocktail party. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to be a serial entrepreneur or have multiple successful businesses. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that shouldn't be the focus. If you build that with the right systems, the right people over a long period of time, it's very doable. A lot of people have done it and are doing it today. But trying to be a serial entrepreneur, just to be able to say you're a serial entrepreneur, is not the goal. That's not the goal. Steve Jobs has a quote all around focus that I think is very applicable. He says, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. You have to pick carefully. I'm actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things I've done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. I had to learn this the hard way. I had to learn the ability to focus through failure, through mistakes. For me, when I just got started, I saw everything as an opportunity. As my platforms were growing, as the business was growing, I saw different markets as opportunities. I saw different products as opportunities. I saw different partnerships and athletes and content. All of these things I saw as opportunities, and I wanted to grab them all. For me, they all fed to one thing, building what I was building. But the reality, I wasn't focused. And because I wasn't focused, some of those things weren't growing at all. Some of the things where we should have been focused on were actually declining. And it felt like this. It felt like I was on my hands and knees, just like pushing this car in neutral, trying to get it 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches further. And like all this work, all this effort was going in, but it was so slowly growing. And then when I eliminated 95% of the things that I was previously working on and upped my level of intensity on one or a few things, I saw exponential growth. Exponential growth. I have a few references and stories around that. For me personally, I started building my platforms, which started as YouTube and then other social media platforms and now this podcast. And my platforms have over 1 million active subscribers or followers that are engaged with the content. And so many people approach me saying, Nick, you have like these platforms with over 1 million people on it. We could launch X, Y, and Z, and you could make this much money. And the reality is, yes, I could. I mean, we could run so many ads on this podcast. I could run so many ads on my YouTube channel. I could add or run so many ads on my Instagram accounts. We could do all of those things, but it would take away from the focus of what we're actually trying to build. It would take away from the message and the brand that I'm trying to convey, create, build, and impact. So I turned down all those other opportunities. I turned down that money. Turned down, like, to be honest, I turned down significant money for ads that I could run on all these platforms that have been built because I want to maintain focus and I want to build something that I can actually increase my intensity over a long period of time. That's my focus. It's not chasing down all these opportunities because they're just opportunities. No, I want to refine focus. And that might be turning down millions of dollars and opportunity upon opportunity. But I want the right opportunity. That's my focus. I started BPN in 2012. And it was a slow build. I mean, it was a slow build. We didn't cross the 7-figure revenue mark until 2017. And when we crossed the 7-figure revenue mark, that for me was just like, holy crap. We're making over $1 million in revenue right now. And we had 3 employees at the time. So I thought, wow, there's an opportunity here to launch another company, be a serial entrepreneur, run the same blueprint and playbook, create a different company, and build that alongside BPN. And I don't know how long some of you guys have been following my journey and the YouTube channel, but in 2018, we launched a brand called Lost Supply Apparel. Had nothing to do with BPN, but it was an outdoor adventure apparel line. Something that was fun. It was a new opportunity. We thought we could build two businesses simultaneously with the same exact team. Same fulfillment, same operations, same marketing, same platforms, all these things. So I spent months building Lost Supply Apparel with Steph, and we launched it, and those first couple launches did really well. But what ended up happening was, as I started putting more time into Lost Supply Apparel, I was able to put less time into BPN. BPN's growth slowed down, which is a brand that I just spent the last 5 years pouring blood, sweat, tears into. And now this brand is slowing down. Lost Supply Apparel is growing a little bit, but I had to ask myself the question, where do I want to spend my time? Where do we create impact? Where do I want the focus to be? So shortly after launching Lost Supply Apparel, we actually closed that business down because we realized we lost the ability to focus. We spread ourselves too thin, and chasing that serial entrepreneur title wasn't as sexy as we thought it was going to be. Another thing that I had to learn the hard way over the years of building a YouTube channel and these platforms that I previously talked about is I saw this opportunity to start doing brand partnerships on YouTube. And these would be like 2 to 3 minute segments of a video, of a YouTube video that would be a partner with another brand that I signed a contract with. And I only signed a contract with a few brands. It wasn't just any brand. It was brands who I actually thought they had a good product and I believed in their company and I used personally. So I signed contracts with a few different brands. And in the middle of a YouTube video, you guys have probably seen a few of these, it'd be like this quick cut for 2 to 3 minutes. And it would be me talking about this product or this brand or this company that I use personally and that I believe in and I endorse. And it would push people towards that. And after that 2 to 3 minute segment, it would go back to the vlog or back to the video. And I was doing multiple of these a month on my YouTube channel. And if I'm being very honest again, I was making very good money from these brand partnerships and deals. And I could have lived very comfortably just on those brand partnerships that were these 2 to 3 minute, pretty easy to film segments added into a video I was already creating. But what I learned and realized is that I was losing focus. And if I was losing focus, my team was losing focus, the viewer was losing focus, the consumer was losing focus, and it just didn't make sense to me anymore. The money that I was making from these brand deals, these partnerships, these ads, I could not justify based off of the focus that was being lost from all parties. So I stopped doing all of those. I don't do any brand partnerships any longer outside of my companies being BPN. But I had to learn that the hard way. I had to go through the process and experience trying to do all the things and saying yes to everyone and anything and just about every opportunity to realize that I wasn't focused. And when I wasn't focused, all growth slowed down. Some growth stopped. And more importantly, there wasn't clarity. There wasn't clarity for myself or who I was speaking to or who I was building with. Focus. Refine focus, learn focus, eliminate distractions. Go all in on a fewer things and be more proud of the things you say no to than the things that you might say yes to.